अभी तक
Now we have 46.
Good evening, sir.
7.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Let me see. Everybody go in chat and say hello. And when you leave, you say bye. Okay?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, chat. I don't want on micro. In chat, because what happens, that file is saved.
चार्ट
चुसू हट हो जा
पैट्रिक सर प्राइवेट चैट नहीं है
Put it there, let me see, because today we are trying it first time to keep the record.
सर सबको म्यूट कीजिए, समझ में नहीं आ रहा आपका आवाज।
अरे मोयुब तो चुप होएगा, म्यूट करवा दो।
कब करेगा? Right now we have 53.
प्रवींदर को रूबी की याद आ रही है।
अरे ओ
Sir, you have made it a private chat, sir.
और बेटे
No, I'm not making private chat. That's going jumping around. But anyway, now I'm going to mute all of you here. Okay?
कुछ नहीं यार, क्रिकेट खेल रहा था।
I'm going to mute all of you right now. You can unmute yourself if required. Okay?
नहीं है, बैठ तो
उसका है।
और उज्जवल
क्या हाल?
हेलो
हे
पैट्रिक
हेलो
present.
ओए बीची
हाँ भाई
बैट किसका
Okay,
पकड़ रखा है?
Ujjwal. Now I think time to stop.
ओके सर।
उज्जवल निकोलाई देख लिया?
Okay,
Abhi,
sir.
don't unmute, otherwise I'll have to change that.
Sir, we'll mute, sir. We'll mute.
Yeah, okay. So there is no issue. Now we have got 55, so let's start. Okay, we are recording this also. And I'm going to put this file for sharing. So in case anybody misses out, he
तो
should,
सर
he or
डेली
she.
रिकॉर्डिंग ही भेजा करो।
अभी आवाज बंद करो जरा। Okay, let us start. Now, chapter 8 to 10. 8 is dealing with PPE. It's all, that blah, blah, like you must identify, etc., hazard, remove all the risks, but if it is not possible, then you have to use PPE. PPE protects you, but with limitations. It is not foolproof. It has got its own limitations, and it is not going to, means, when you use PPE, it doesn't mean the risk has come down. Risk is very much there, it's on same level. But when you are working on it, then it drops to acceptable level because you are using PPE. And PPE does not reduce hazard. Hazard will be very much there. And if I am wearing helmet, it's only my head which will be safe, not yours if you're standing next to me. This is something you have to understand. So every person has to have PPE. PPE may in itself cause a hazard because, like I had told you in the class also, when you wear goggles, you get reduced vision. If you use mufflers or something to protect your ears, you can't hear somebody giving you warning. Yeah. So somebody is shouting at you, look out, you can't hear him. So like there are a couple of things which everyone has got its own limitations, plus and minuses. The most important thing, company supplies you PPE at no cost. You are not charged for anything. Normally when you join the ship, you will be provided with overall means boiler suit, safety shoes because they are size specific, and rest of the things you will get on board. Now, when we talk about PPE, we also look at the standard of it. Normally, we always use something that is approved. Approved means either approved by some of the, like in India, ISI mark. So that is what we look for. Now, company ensures that PPE is regularly checked and maintained or serviced. Records are maintained. You always remember, whatever you do on board, there will be record keeping. So there is paperwork, which all of us hate anyway, but there is paperwork. Regular checking will be organized normally by a person like chief officer, second engineer. They will be checking everybody's, other people who work under them, that okay, helmet is okay. If anything is defective, change. Now, we have to train people to use PPE properly, which is normally wearing helmet is not a big issue. Putting some earplugs or something is not a big issue, but there are other PPEs like say chemical suit. You have to have some sort of instructions and training in it because it is sealed. It is sealed means when you wear gloves, you use the tapes and seal the hands and everywhere, so that you are totally sealed. So even if any chemical splashes or something, you don't get hurt. And every time when we use, we also get the same advice like, okay, there is a limitation. There is a limitation. Means obviously, you wear a helmet, a small nut bolt falls down, you are protected. But if something is too big, that helmet is not going to help you. Wearing helmet doesn't mean you go under the hanging loads. Okay. Now, training as it is done, it is also recorded. All the training is recorded. Now, suitable equipment must be appropriate for the risks involved or task being performed, without leading to any significantly increased risk. Means when you are using something, suitable equipment shall not increase the risk. It must fit seafarer correctly after necessary adjustment. Necessary adjustment means like straps. You adjust for your sizes. Then it takes care of ergonomic requirements and seafarer state of health. That is normally everybody has to be fit. Be compatible with any other equipment that seafarer has to use at the same time. That means if I am wearing helmet, I am using earplugs, and I am also wearing the safety shield, they should not interfere with each other. They all should fit without, like suppose right now, if I try to put mask, it may come here. That should not happen. That means if mask is there along with the safety glasses, still everything must fit properly. Defective equipment shall not be used. Defective equipment shall never be used. If you find anything is defective, put it aside, use something else, report it, and if there is no other gear is available, wait till somebody gives you the gear. You cannot just say nothing is available, so I will use it. No. Under no circumstances you use defective equipment. Now, seafarer, we have got our duties. For the task what we are doing, we must use the appropriate PPE. And now comes the most important part, because already you have got a training and you have got PPE available to you. PPE must be checked by the wearer. The person who is going to wear it must check it, not somebody else checking and telling you, it's okay, don't worry, use it. No, you must check it yourself. You must make yourself happy that it is okay. It's not defective. And it must be done each time before use. There is no excuse saying, I checked it up 15 days ago, it was okay. No. Each time before use. I know it sounds like, time consuming stuff that we are wasting so much effort. Don't worry. Because that little wasted time, if somebody calls it wasted time, it is still far better than somebody having accident. Now, this training, when we talk about seafarers should comply with the training, means what? This is what you get when you go to the lab. When you go to the lab, this is what you get. Our seamanship lab. They train you, they show you how to use it. You will do exercises with it. And some places, you will have manufacturer's instructions for you. Now, when you talk about manufacturer's instructions, normally somebody else will be telling you how to use it, chief officer or second engineer, chief engineer, somebody. Or manufacturer's representative. Sometimes what happens is some new equipment comes on board and you have got manufacturer's representative there. So they do conduct a small workshop or a training so that everybody knows how to use the equipment. Now, types of equipment, the standard stuff, overall is also called boiler suit, not as refer NTMI boiler. Boiler is something else, boiler suit. Boiler suit means it is like, you can call it jumpsuit. Means if it is fashionable, then it is jumpsuit. Okay, gloves, suitable footwear. These are the most common things. And generally within this we do. But additionally, when you go for a job specific, then there are more things get involved. Now, head protection means what you will have safety helmets, which you have seen, you already have. Bum cap. Bum caps are more like, the cyclist helmets. Like cyclists have their helmets. No, you must have seen GK sir and all they have got. So that is bum cap. Then hair protection. Hair protection is some sort of a net which you just wear over your hair so hair don't fly. It will become like sort of absolutely chapta. So the hair will not get stuck anywhere. Hearing protection, earmuffs, earplugs. Now, at times it happens that you will not find earplugs. Well, you can put cotton in your ears, but make sure it is working. Earplugs is the best solution, but if you don't have, you can use cotton buds.
सर
And
कॉटन
then
अंदर
you-
चले जाए तो
अरे अंदर कैसे जाएगा? We all have been using from childhood, no? When we drop anything in ears, then we would something, no? Cotton.
बाई चांस अंदर ही चली गई.
अंदर जाएगी तो
अरे भाई
somebody
अंदर
will
कैसे
be
जाएगी?
अरे क्यों नहीं
never
जा
mind.
सकती?
वो छोटा
भाई
है.
ऐसे कैसे अंदर चली गई?
ऐसी जाती है
Okay,
बेटा
घर के
जब
अंदर
उल्टे
सब कुछ
लगे.
चला जाता.
Okay. Next one. Face and eye protection. See, goggles is one because it is closed from sides. Okay, it's not like open here. It is closed from sides and it has got holes for ventilation. Otherwise, it will get foggy. Spectacles normally, like amateurs use them normally. Like if you are a weekend hobbyist, you may have a spectacles which is approved as a protection for your eyes, like 0 number. But other ones are facial shields, which cover your face completely. And
जैसे
it is much
वेल्डिंग के
clearer.
टाइम.
Something like welding one, but these are clear ones. There is a band here, and there is a sort of a shield, glass. Glass nahi hoti hai, it's a sort of plastic. So it is much better than the goggles, because goggles, what happens is it restricts your view too much. Respiratory protective equipment, dust masks, respirators, breathing apparatus. A lot of stuff comes in, but you must use the appropriate one. In this, dust mask doesn't mean like what we are doing these days. We take any handkerchief and put rubber bands around and we make a dust mask. That is not what we are talking about. Here it will be approved type. Then you have got hand and foot protection and variety of gloves, various, there are many types of gloves. safety shoes, boots, like you have, like what we say sea boots means like
मम्मा
a boot.
देखो पढ़ने नहीं दे रही.
Okay.
अबे पटियाल
का हो वो?
Oh, stop it now. Otherwise, your sister will know more than you. Okay.
Come on, guys, we are all grown up.
Very good.
ओ
ये तो easy है.
इसको 5 point दे देगा. Okay.
चाटना शुरू कर दिया वो.
Okay, next one. Body protection. Safety suit, safety belts. Means you have got a safety belt which goes around like normal belt. Then harnesses. Aprons, like cooks use it. The welders use it. High visibility clothing is normally, it's a jacket. It's a thin net type of jacket, or it may be another type, but it is generally required in many ports today. Even though you are not part of the port staff, you still need it. And there, if of course that again shouldn't be happening on ship. If you are oversized one and all, then you have got some additional straps to make sure that it stays on your body. But high visibility clothing definitely helps, and with the retroreflective tape. Then protection against drowning. Life jackets, okay, it is something we use only in emergencies. Buoyancy aids. Now, buoyancy aids, you have got many of them. They can be like balloon types. Automatically, they inflate. Then you have got work vests, life buoys, which are thrown when you fall in water. But normally, you should not be falling in water in any case. Hypothermia, you know, that is loss of body's heat in cold weather, and then you have people die. So there you have an immersion suit, anti-exposure suits. That is what we have to that is what you will be doing in detail in second year under LSA code. Now we come to chapter 9. Now there are lots of safety signs displayed on the ship. Language used is English as well as working language of the ship, with most of the times you are going to see only English. Now, seafarer, what seafarer is supposed to do? They must understand meaning of signs and color coding system in use on their ship. Like a color coding system is very effective because Japanese tried it first. They had lots of foreigners coming, and nobody knew Japanese, and Japanese did not know English, so they created color coding system, which has been very effective in Japan. Like if you are changing trains and all, they tell you just follow the color of your ticket. So you keep on following the arrow and you will go to the right trains. I have seen that it's very efficient. And in India also we started using it in hospitals and all, where they have the colored arrows and you just follow it, so you go to the right departments and all.
Metro station, sir.
Metro must be also using.
निखिल बोला.
Then
क्या बात है?
there is a issue in case, which should not be happening normally, in case somebody is colorblind, partially colorblind. In that case, it should not happen anyway, because everybody is tested and it doesn't change in life. Either you are colorblind or you are not, one of those two. But in case anything is there, you have to tell the supervisor. Like it may happen that somebody who has come from ashore to work on a specific thing and is sailing with you for a few days, that sort of a person can have issue. A technician, a specialist technician. Now, there are permanent signs which are used. So now you have seen enough signs anyway. Anywhere you go, you do see enough signs, exit. And the exit is very common sign what we see. Now they give you prohibitions, warning, mandatory requirements. Means somewhere if there is a board showing helmet, that means you have to wear helmet. Somewhere there will be a board showing the eye protection. you have to have eye protection. Somewhere they show you with this type of stuff means you must wear ear protection, like that. Then there is marking for emergency escape routes. Now, this emergency escape route marking are generally approximately about 30 centimeters from the bottom. And then there are lights so that you can see it even if it is filled with smoke. So that is where the arrows show you. Just follow the arrow and run. That is emergency route. Then first aid facilities. Some places you have got first aid pack. So it is marked there. That means all the signage is, you don't have to read in a language. The signage is common. And that is where you will be able to just say, look at the picture and you say, this is it. Locations of firefighting equipment, which extinguishers and all, everywhere there will be signage. Now here the red sign means stop doing something or don't do it. Prohibition. Shut down, stop, evacuate, or mark the location, type of firefighting equipment, etc. That's a red sign. Then yellow signs are advisory type. Take precautions. Blue signs are specific action. Green signs means generally emergency escape or a first aid sign. Okay, if you remember some of it, it's fine. If you don't remember much also, you are okay. Occasional signs, illuminated sign, acoustic signals, hand signals, and etc., etc. They all are used for temporary hazard or circumstances. Like, when you dig up the road, they put a flashing light and all. Similarly, we also do certain things. That there is a temporary hazard. Now, this is all covered. The sign you will have to practice. Now we come to chapter 10. Company provides equipment for handling anything. Use it. There's small cranes and all. We got a lot of stuff there to lift up load. Check size and weight of the load. Now one issue comes up because they are trying to work out in this world from 60s. What should be the load for a person to lift up the safe load? Now, they have never reached agreements, and everywhere there are different rules. Some places in India, it is 35 kilos for some category of people. Same place, there are also 55 kilos. You have got a specialist labor which can pick up 55, 60, 70 kilos also, and you pay them more. That's the way it is. Like if you take a typical case of the bags, where food stuff comes, you've got either 20 kgs bags or you've got 50 kgs bags. Now, there's a lot of labor which can pick up, one person can pick up 20 kg. It's fine. As far as you go, see, you are on a moving platform that is ship. 20 kilos, anything more than that, or even at 20 kilos, if you're not comfortable, ask for help. So the two persons will lift up. Then there is a proper technique, which you will do it in seamanship lab, how to keep hands straight, back straight, and lift up using legs. Okay. Then don't try to be a hero. Hero means
single Abdullah. Sir, ये बहुत बनते हैं.
I just saw somebody trying to do home exercises doing weightlifting. He lifted it up over his head and it went behind.
Sir, ये कौवा करता है सर. ये कौवा करता है. कौवा.
हो सकता है. But don't worry. Don't try to be a hero saying that I am lifting up so much. That is doing it in gym.
Yes, sir.
Under supervision is different thing.
और ये चुस्सू भी करता है सर सजन.
And
चुस्सू तो वेट लिफ्टर है.
ओए वेट लिफ्टिंग की बात छोड़ो. One damage, one jerk can damage your body permanently. See, I have got some back problem.
Yes, sir.
It has happened with some I will say on ships only it must have happened, because when I joined at 18, I was good with sports and all. I did not have any backache anytime. I did not know it, but somewhere using wrong methods or something.
तो आपके
Okay,
कंजे का आया था सर?
it's not severe one, but anybody, and it has become very common that people having L4, L5 damage. So in your case, you are aware of it, so don't try to be a hero.
Yes.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute you, and if you have got any questions, ask on this what we have done. तो क्या हो गया?
मयूर करी तो ना पूछे पानी पूरन खा दे निखिल
पैट्रिक भाई थोड़ा शांत रहोगे?
नहीं भाई बोलो बोलो
Okay.
अरे बीची तू बोल यार कोई नहीं बोल रहा
हाँ भाई बलविंदर
Anybody has got any doubt in this chapter 8 to 10?
No, sir.
All okay.
All clear.
तो
Very
इजी है
इंजी है
Okay, I am going to put back mute again. Okay.
ओके सर
सर आज के लिए काफी है सर काफी है सर आज के लिए
Sir, done, sir. Enough.
Okay.
सर आज
Not done. We are still okay.
Saturated, sir.
What happened?
सर आज के लिए
आज के लिए और एक वो दोनों ये खत्म होएगा फिर क्लास 15 मिनट में कैसे करेगा?
अरे सुन तो
ओके अभी do you want me to mute you all completely now?
नो सर
Okay, now say all silence. Now you can unmute. So there are tricks up the sleeve. Okay, let's move on. Otherwise, we will take too long. The next chapter, safe movement on board ship. Now, this is something, it's very difficult to understand here, because here when you walk straight, you can walk straight. And if you're walking like this way, that way, then it is considered you are drunk. On board, at times, because of rolling and pitching, and the rolling is something like you can have about 35 degrees on each side. That is about 70 degrees you are going both ways, you know. And walking is quite difficult at times. So, and then you have got restricted places. So you can go and hit your head anywhere. You can bang with your body on the sides. And everywhere you have got steel, sharp edges. So you can get hurt. Now, you have to be very careful when you move on ship. And don't try to be again a hero trying to do something. Okay, we all get our own jhatkas to do things because we are very confident. But don't do it on board. I can tell you honestly, because we have been through the same thing. We also behaved in, what do you say, not in appropriate manner, but don't do it. Now, tripping hazards. Now, what happens is normally we say ship should be ship shaped and all, we use these terms. Now, there is something called squaring up. Like ropes shouldn't be hanging around here and there. Nowadays, you may not see ropes much, but our days it used to be a lot of rope on deck. something like I think normal ship could have as much as about 5,000-7,000 meters of ropes on deck. So if they're not kept properly, you can trip over them. Pipes, framing, most of the places, you see, what happens is we have got properly covered with the steps, arrangement over pipes to cross over. But we tend to get overconfident and we start jumping over or something like that, and then you need just one thing getting stuck. Now that is where we were talking about no loose clothes, because loose clothes can get stuck. And a sudden or heavy roll of the ship has to be kept in mind. Now, why sudden or heavy roll? You see, when you get the waves, it's not necessarily that waves are from one source. Waves may be from 2-3 different sources, and they may have different wavelengths. And then suddenly, some point comes when they synchronize, and that is the time you get heavy roll, which is abnormal roll, but it should be in mind. Then we have got to use suitable footwear. Suitable footwear should be always used, means in simple words, you wear safety shoes when you go on deck. Nothing else, because that protects your toe. Toe has got a steel cap. And also remember one thing, if you are going to use safety shoes and you get over enthusiastic and decide to use safety shoes to go ashore, you may have problems with metal detectors, because I had one interesting thing in Italy. Our chief officer and second engineer were great friends, and they decided to go ashore in safety shoes, just style. And when they tried to enter a bank, they had the circular door. As they entered inside, they triggered off alarm metal, and they got locked. Then they were rescued, because bank was working bank, so somebody came, rescued them, and then it turned out because of their steel caps, they set alarm. Now it happened. I have also got another guy who was with me, elderly third mate. He had one of the arms, he had a steel rod, and he used to set off alarms everywhere. So just remember about the toes and all protection. And when you use sea boots, now when we say sea boots here, these are the boots, rubber boots, what we use in rain. What we call it, like what boots? I don't know, because now I got used to only sea boots, but gumboots we call it. Nowadays you don't see much, but you will find generally the government workers and all using it, like electrical staff, and like those guys are given it as a part of uniform. But that is called sea boots when we use them on board. Now, if you're using a ladder and you may be using sea boots because there is a lot of water around and all, be very careful. Then, dangerous to swing, guardrails, staircases, pipes, means the stylish part, the sliding down and all, it is dangerous. Injuries are often caused by jumping off hatches, because hatch covers are approximately, normally, okay, my experience is it's almost like 1.5 to 2 meters, around close to 2 meters, 1.7 to 2 meters height. Now you jump down from there. Normally you can jump, but if ship is rolling or something, it may synchronize in a wrong way, and you may have a jerk somewhere. Now, manhole covers or any openings on deck should be kept closed when you're not using. If you keep it open, guardrail should be there and a warning sign should be there. Spillage of oil, grease, soapy water must be cleaned up as soon as practical. Now here, so I got interesting story. At that time I was second officer. and captain's wife was practicing her cooking in pilot's cabin. So she had all the mini kitchen set up there with oil and all around. And we were at anchor and we were rolling heavily. So we had one fat messman. He went there to clean. I told him, because what happened in the rolling, that oil bottle dropped down and there was oil all over that pilot's cabin. It was on the bridge. So I told this guy, don't go inside. And same time, our trainee radio officer put his hand on the door frame and door banged on it, and he had 2 fingers fractured and bleeding. So, and the second officer, somehow, that is a great feeling you get at sea, that everybody used to think you are as good as doctor, but you are never a doctor anyway. So anyway, I told, don't go in. No, this fat guy went inside, slipped there, got hurt. Then he is shouting and screaming there. And radio room was also on bridge. The trainee radio officer, he is shouting because pain was too much. And I was like in the boat. And somehow I called somebody and we managed it. But to get the radio officer's finger and get this guy, somehow we managed it. But remember, this sort of a stuff, you should be very, very careful, because all these slippery things can be a real big problem when ships are rolling. Then you have got ice problem on ship. Ice, because we also use salt at times, but very often the temperatures are so cold, any spray gets converted and you have got ice. If there is ice, it is absolutely slippery. It is like hard ice. It is not like snow. Snow you will not have problem, but ice you can have a lot of problem. That's because you are not going there with skating shoes. Temporary obstacles, always you show with the warning signs. Loose objects should be cleared up. You don't litter anything. Wire rope should be coiled and stored. That's what I said, ship keeping. Good ship keeping should be there. Lifelines, this lifeline, now see, this lifeline is also a word which is a little confusing, because when I say lifeline here, it means it is rigged from accommodation to forecastle, and in case you have to go on deck, you should not be swept overboard by waves. That is why this lifeline has to be rigged. Now this is required on certain ships. Other ships you have got different types of arrangements. But this is this lifeline. So this is little different in reference. Then normal staircases and ladders on the ship are steeper. Like, you go on our model, you will find the same thing. That they're little steeper than what you find ashore, even at home and all. Ladders must be, now these are portable ladders, okay, must be secured. Gangways, again, you have to have it properly secured. Then you have got access and all, that is all, again, when we say secured means no slippery stuff around, nothing. Now, the obstruction, see, first thing, generally, we don't put anything anywhere, just like in passages or something, we have got place in our cabins. Now, this last one is talking about the means of access to firefighting equipment, emergency escape routes, watertight doors should never be obstructed. Because if you store something in the middle, you can't access these things. And we really don't do it. But you may have a bad habit, somebody may have, and they may obstruct it. It should never be done. Now we come to the next part, chapter 12. Noise, vibration. Noise can damage your ears. Okay. Vibrations, it's a funny feeling you get. If you are 2 meters away. I'm not talking in a strong wind or something outside. If you're 2 meters away in a workplace and you have to shout, that means there is a problem. That means there is excessive noise there. If your ears are still ringing after leaving the workplace, that may happen when you go to engine room and don't use the ear protectors. And when you come out, you will still find like this. Loud explosive noises, like we generally don't use it on board, like guns or something like that. We generally don't use because we generally maintain what is on board. Like carpentry tools, you have got these cartridge operated tools for nails and all, but we generally don't use it. Hammering, chipping machines, when somebody is doing chipping, you will get disturbed anyway because there's a lot of racket. It's like, they take thali and keep on banging with spoon, and on louder scale. Now this last part, metal end plate on decks of roll-on, roll-off ferries, means what happens, there is a ramp like this, correct? So anything which moves, this will last minute cling, 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 that sort of a noise you will get. And it can be lot because when you are loading about 4,000 cars, you have got a lot of movement going on, and that is like a loose plate going on. Like in ship's engine room, you may have machinery like diesel engine, generators and all, and it's confined place. Confined place means the sound is inside only, and it can be really bad. If you stand too long there, you will not be able to hear much. Now, this last part, of course, unfortunately, I don't think many of you are going to get any chance to enjoy that part. This is the poor guys, waiters who have to carry your drinks inside the disco, loud, or nightclubs, which you are not allowed to go yet. But there is a lot of things which I never understood why. It is so much that if you have to talk to person next to you by shouting, the huge speakers and all. So that is the last part, which is basically more for people who are working there. Okay. So now I'm going to unmute you. Very good. Unmute all. Now, any doubts?
No, sir.
I know.
No, sir.
Not at all.
No, sir. Not
Nobody.
at all.
No, sir.
Very good. I just want to know, anybody has a doubt?
No, sir.
No. Very good. No.
Sir, how is
Thank
it
you, sir. Bye, sir.
so well?
No, one thing. Now what you have to do is,
Read chapter 11. Sir.
you say bye, 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 karke, you put it, okay? I not put it private, I have kept it for everybody in meeting. So now when you leave, bye, 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 and then you get out of the meeting. I will wait till it becomes 0, okay?
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Take care, sir.
Thank you, sir. Take care, sir.
Bye, sir. Bye.
Love you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Love you, sir. Bye.
Bye, sir.
अरे पैट्रिक, अरे
फिर चला दें, धुआं कर दें।
यहाँ जो करना है तेरे को।
हैं? फिर मैं तुझे क्या दूँगा?
You are recorded. You are recorded right now. So as what I have become like what teacher?
मयूर
That I'm
चक्रवर्ती
teaching crows and birds and all over now.
सर इसमें कौवा है, क्या करें?
कौवा है सर।
I know.
कौन है सर, आपको पता है?
मालूम है ना?
और चुस्सू?
सब लोग का तुम लोग का I have not forgotten you all yet.
Hey, Patrick.
और सर एक
बोल।
चीज है,
निकल बे बाहर।
अरे फालतू
बाहर
नहीं।
आके मिल, बोलो अभी बाहर आके मिल।
तो पूरे डिवीजन में एक ही मल्लू है।
ले ले उसका।
नहीं, you are not going to get it. Like, no matter where you go in the world, you are going to meet them anyway. And
भाई किसी मल्लू को बुरा लग
go
जाएगा।
on any ship, you are going to meet a Bengali anyway.
Yes sir.
बंगाली।
So don't worry. Those
Sir,
two
एक
you are going to meet all over.
सर एक
So
चिंगरा
better
भी
be
है
friendly with them.
और एक सर लुली सर भी है। चल
बस कर बलविंदर।
अरे ऐसे तो तुम बोलते नहीं हो।
ऑन म्यूट है तभी।
लास्ट 20 लोग काय के लिए बैठे हैं इधर?
सर ऐसी मस्ती के लिए।
ऐसी सर बलविंदर के पास तो सर टाइम ही टाइम है।
But if you want, you can do privately Zoom meetings also, no?
सजल यहाँ आकर टाइम पास कराऊंगा।
And time pass के लिए you all can do and talk to each other on videos. Do make a Zoom meeting.
सर आप
नहीं होगा ना
एंजॉय हो जाता सर। सर आप साथ हो ना सर एंजॉय हो जाता है।
सर के घर पे चला जा।
Yes.
बढ़िया सूटा पिलाएंगे, दारू पिलाएंगे, मुंह में देंगे।
हाँ, आजकल मिल नहीं रहे। सिगरेट 30 रुपया हो गए। I heard today cigarettes have become 30 rupees each
उस
stick.
दिन तो सर आप 50 बोल रहे थे, आज 20 हो गए।
50 नहीं, वो नहीं। आई एम टॉकिंग दैट 500 रुपीज पैकेट का गया अभी एक सिगरेट इज अबाउट 30 रुपीज।
ये लड़की भी पीती है सर।
सर आपके पास तो पूरा स्टॉक होगा।
नहीं, आई डोंट स्मोक।
अरे सर इतना बड़ा झूठ
नहीं है। बेसिकली आई यूज्ड टू स्मोक, इट्स नॉट दैट आई डोंट, बट आई जनरली डोंट स्मोक, सो इट्स ओके।
सर बियर वगैरह का स्टॉक हो गई आपके पास सर?
अरे खत्म हो गया। कितना मेरे को क्या मालूम, इतना रहने का था। 1 महीना हो गया अभी घर में। You realize you will spend almost 1 month. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow you will be 1 month at home.
Yes sir.
Then
सर इधर उधर और
सर कुछ जुगाड़ करो सर।
आंटी वांटी मिल जाएगी इधर उधर।
जितना है वही मैनेज करना पड़ता है। And it looks like another 20-25 days before any liquor shop opens up here. Because right now what they have said, liquor companies are going to make only hand wash.
सर सैनिटाइजर से हम एक्सट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं अल्कोहल, if you know the method.
क्या?
We can extract alcohol from sanitizer.
सर ये
बराबर है, but you can't drink that. They ensure that they put
इसी में निकाला है।
कर रहा है घर पे बैठ के।
क्वारंटाइन इसी में निकाला है।
चलो बाय बाय करो, नहीं तो मेरे को बंद करने को नहीं मिलेगा।
सर वैसे तो मैंने कर दिया बाय सर।
हाँ नहीं, सब लोग ये करो, because I will close it then.
कर दिया सर, बाय सर।
चलो
ओके सर बाय
बाय।
सर ये एक्सट्रैक्शन भी रिकॉर्डिंग में आ गया।
आ गया, तुम्हारा डिस्कशन इज इन रिकॉर्डिंग।
तो सर आपको तलानी वाले कहेंगे, आप बच्चे क्या
ट्रिम कर देना सर, वीडियो ट्रिम कर देना सर, ये आखिरी का पार्ट काट देना।
तेरा तो स्टार्टिंग का कटेगा।